Hello, 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 and welcome, Mr. Michael Pope. I am super stoked about having you speak at Masterclass 1111, Live Life Simply. I'm honored, really honored. And you and I have been trying to do this for a while anyway, so I'm
I
super
know.
excited. Right? So I'll do a quick introduction about who you are, and then, we'll just kind of go from there. This is more interview style to start, and then I know you're going to do your amazing presentation. Super stoked about you sharing that with all the folks here as well. So let me tell you all a little bit about Mr. Michael Pope. I met him I think it's been almost 3 years. Can you believe that? It was during 2020, right?
Yeah.
Crazy, crazy. He is part of the John Maxwell. Oops, we don't call it the John Maxwell team anymore. The Maxwell leadership team. He and I served together on a PAC team for the marketing systems. And we noticed in the marketing systems PAC team that this guy kept just showing up, doing all kinds of amazing stuff. And I reached out to the leaders and we all kind of had a conversation. I was like, Michael Pope might be somebody that should be participating in the PAC team. And then we became cohorts in that activity, and now friends and comrades in the marketing leadership team. It's hard for me to remember to say that. Maxwell leadership team. Just to say a few words about him. He is a father, a husband, a son, an extraordinary human being, and a servant leader. And when I say he's a servant leader, he is a servant leader. This guy, Michael, does all kinds of things. He just shows up. He's just on it. It's pretty amazing. I'm sorry. Hopefully I'm not making you feel uncomfortable. And he's smart, he's helpful, he's powerful, he's knowledgeable, and most of all, and amazing of all, he is the coach's tech guy. So Michael, tell us a little bit more about you, and then I'll ask you a couple of questions. We'll go into your presentation, come back and wrap it up.
Sounds good. First off, Cheryl, I'm honored to be here. And thank you so much for inviting me to your summit. This is going to be exciting. And, it's a pleasure working with you. And like you said, I remember you reached out to me because you're on the President's Advisory Council, the PAC team, and you invited me to join you on a Zoom for a training session. And that was my first ever as being a part of the Maxwell team, so you're the first person that I trained with on the Maxwell team. So I'm honored that you even allowed me to have that opportunity. So yeah, I am the coach's tech guy, and I love working with coaches, speakers, entrepreneurs, small business owners, helping them really to create systems and automations so they can be more productive in their business. And I absolutely love it. My background is in IT, so I've worked in the information technology field for the last 27 years as a software developer, project manager, all of that, right? So all the hats in the tech space, and absolutely love it.
Yeah, what's really cool about this whole conversation is we're both techie in two different ways, right? Mm-hmm. And then when we get the collaboration of us together, it's pretty cool to be on a meeting with the two of us, especially when we're training. But that's not what we're going to do today. I'm not going to be training. We're going to be learning from Michael. And one of the things I want you all to keep in mind is this is a little bit different. This is kind of a soiree off of the or a little bit of a different direction from the recordings that you may have already seen. But I wanted this to be a very well-rounded masterclass this year, and it's really about living life simply. And Michael's going to give us some productivity hints and guidance on how to simplify our lives so that we are better entrepreneurs, business owners, employees, parents, whatever it is. So go ahead, Michael, take it away.
All right, so I'm going to share my screen here. Make sure that's all working. All right, that all set. Perfect. Well, yeah, so the title of my presentation today is about being a doer. And I'm going to share really 4 strategies that can help anyone grow their coaching business, really their entrepreneur business, and really be more productive as an employee, I believe. Like I said, I've worked as an employee for the last 27 years for the same company, and I've had great success in that field. Absolutely love it. But even more than working for someone else, I love being an entrepreneur and being a coach myself. And so I'm going to talk to you all today a little bit about just being a doer. And for me, I've had ups and downs in my business, But the last 6 months, I have been extremely productive. And that's when I share a little bit about some of the growth I've had over the last 6 months in my business. So I started a membership program, and I've added 36, I think it's at 38 now. I didn't update my slide, but yeah, so I added 38 members for my membership program. It's a monthly program that we get together with other coaches from different industries and work with them. So great success there. At the time of this slide, I had 14 new clients over the last 6 months. I actually added 2 this past week. Earlier this week, I added 2 new 12-week clients that I'm going to be working with. So pretty excited about that. In addition, I love speaking and collaboration. I'm going to talk about that when it comes to productivity. But I've been on over 60 stages. So that's podcast interviews, in-person speaking engagements, schools, virtual trainings, all, you name it, right? Just being productive in what I say that I do as a coach, speaker, trainer, and all of that. And I've also landed a new corporate client that I'm working with right now. So just having lots of fun. And just to give you an idea of some of the stages I've been on. So you see, I've given some in-person presentations. The largest was at the Maxwell team, a little over a couple thousand people in that audience. I had a smaller in-person one at a school with maybe around 70 or so people in that audience. And then various virtual presentations in the whole gambit. And the only reason why I show this slide really is not to brag on what I'm doing, but just to let you all know that if your goal is to be a doer in this industry, right? If you want to be a speaker, a coach, create new business, you have to create exposure. And so part of my speaking is me creating exposure. I'm going to talk more about that when we're talking about being a doer, but I just wanted you to get that in your mind. And it works. It's a great way to generate new clients. I'm going to talk about that when I talk about my little cash model in a little bit. And I absolutely love it. So let's talk about being a doer. Now, I grew up down in North Carolina. I live in Ohio now, but down in North Carolina, grew up in a Southern Baptist church. And one of the first scriptures that I remember learning as a young kid was this one here from James, right? People would always say, hey, you want to be ye a doer of the word and not hearers only, deceiving yourself. Right. And we would always have people tell us, hey, make sure you're doing the word. You're not just being a hearer, you're doing it. And I grew up hearing that. And so when I transitioned into the coaching industry, I kind of changed this. I paraphrased it a little bit to something that fits me a little bit more. So I truly believe that you want to be a doer of the principles shared. So in this case, shared at this summit and not hearers only. If you're a hearer only, you're deceiving yourself. Meaning if you go through and you watch all of these recordings from these amazing speakers that are going to be here at this summit, and all it is entertainment and information for you, but you don't do anything with it, you're just deceiving yourself. Really, you're just wasting time. And I've been there, right? I've read books and said, man, this book was amazing. And then someone would say, okay, the book was amazing. What's one thing you did as a result of reading that book? And I'd be like, well, nothing. I highlighted some pages. I took notes. But what did you do? And if I didn't do anything, if I didn't apply the principles in that book, I really just gathered information and it's just dust on the shelf. But if we want to be doers, right, we got to make sure that we take that information and do something with it, be productive with it. And I think you can do that. So today I'm going to talk about being a doer, and I'm going to use the word doer as an acrostic to kind of explain really how I think you can be more productive and be a doer. So the D in doer stands for discipline. And I love what my mentor said. This right here is Joseph McClendon III here, an amazing man. He speaks a lot on stages at Tony Robbins, UPWs, and he has his own events and all that. And he has the Neuroencoding program, and I'm part of his team there. But I love how Joseph says it. He said, discipline is doing the prescribed activity, no matter what, even and especially when it's difficult. Think about that. Discipline is doing the prescribed activity, no matter what, even and especially when it's difficult. So that means that if I'm working with a coach And my coach said, hey, Michael, you need to make 5 phone calls a day asking people for an opportunity to speak. If my coach gives me that assignment, right, and I trust my coach, I trust that relationship, then no matter what, I need to make sure that I'm making those phone calls, right? Not giving them excuses, not saying, oh, well, they may not answer, it's too late to call, right? No matter what, being disciplined enough to follow through with that prescribed activity. That discipline is so important. And I know for me, I have to look all over my life, every area of my business, okay, am I being disciplined in this area? Am I being disciplined in this area? Some areas, it's an absolute yes. There's some areas where I'm like, ugh, I've made a lot of excuses in that area. I need to apply more discipline. So one of the books that's really helping me out, I was actually looking for it, I think it's downstairs, but I got a screenshot of it. So one of the books that's helping me with that discipline is this book here by Darren LaCroix called 17 Minutes to Your Dream. It's an absolutely amazing book. And that book has got me going through activities that's helped me be more consistent. One of those challenges that Darren challenged me to do was to do a Facebook Live every single day. So I've been doing that now. I think I'm on day 40 today of going a daily Facebook Live, minute or two, just going live, talking to the camera. But that was one of the areas in my life that I wanted to get more comfortable with doing. And so I'm going through his challenge. And there's other habits that he has in there. So one thing Darren says is, do you have the discipline to produce 17 minutes of progress towards your dream every day? Think about that. Do you have the discipline to produce 17 minutes of progress towards your dream every day? So if my dream is to be a paid professional speaker at a higher level, then that means I need to be doing something for at least 17 minutes a day towards that goal. That may be making phone calls. That could be working on a story, working on my speaking skills. But I need to be doing something for at least 17 minutes. If my goal is to grow my coaching business, then I have to say, okay, what can I do for at least 17 minutes a day? Is that reaching out to people to set up appointments for discovery calls and strategy calls? Is that following up with clients? You've got to figure out what that is for you. But all Darren is saying, hey, just take 17 minutes and do it. And when you look at those activities, I look at those activities as repeatable income creating activities. And what I've figured out is that if I can do at least 3 repeatable income creating activities every single day, it's going to keep moving me in the right direction towards my dreams. And so I'm going to share with you some potential income creating activities that you could do in your business. Now, these are more geared towards the speaking and the coaching industry. However, if your business is, maybe you're a fitness instructor, I truly believe you can still modify these for your industry as well. And so the income producing activities that I'm going to talk about here today, the whole goal of it is to have the intention. And so remember that word, the intention of getting a paid coaching client or a paid speaking opportunity, because we have to be intentional with anything we do. So here are a couple examples here. It could be attending a networking event or promoting a webinar, workshop, or event. So nothing major, but that's an income creating activity. Posting on social media, whether it's videos, images, text, emailing 5 to 10 people. Those are simple income creating activities that anyone can do, right? Not rocket science. Private messaging someone, whether it's on Facebook or Instagram, LinkedIn, and connecting with them, or maybe conducting 1 or 2 discovery calls a day. Income creating activities that really don't take a whole lot of time. I know for me, if I do a discovery or a strategy call, they're normally 30-minute sessions. So if I did 2 of those a day, you're talking about an hour of time of me actually just meeting with a potential client. Yeah, what is that hour worth? For me, it's a good number. Follow-up calls. or asking someone for an opportunity to speak, to be on their podcast, to be a part of their summit. That's so important. There's a lot of people in my circle that say, hey, I want to be a speaker. And my question is like, okay, when's the last time you asked someone to allow you to speak? On social media, we're constantly seeing people promote events, right? They've got a summit they're doing here, or a workshop, or a conference that they're holding. Reach out to them and ask, hey, do you need any more speakers? Right? Do you need a keynote speaker? Do you need a workshop presenter? They may say no, or they may say, well, I'm full this year. However, I'm going to have one in the spring. Can I put you on my list? Or I'm going to have one next fall. Can I put you on my list? And you can start gathering connections that way of people who are looking for speakers. You can ask for referrals. I do my best to do this more frequently now than I used to, is ask for referrals. You'd be amazed at how just by asking someone, hey, do you know anyone who's looking for a speaker? Or do you know anyone who is looking for a coach? Most people will say, oh yeah, I remember such and such was talking about that. But if I wait for that person to come to me and say, hey, Michael, do you want to speak? Right? It's like time passes on. But if I want to speed that up, I've got to take the action. Offer to solve someone's problem through coaching. One of the beautiful things about coaching that I absolutely love is that that's what we get to do. On a regular basis, we get an opportunity to actually help someone either hit a goal, solve their problem, and it's very rewarding. Right? So that's just some examples of income creating activities. Now, I encourage you all, as you're watching this, you probably know other income creating activities that you're doing right now that have produced money. Write those down somewhere so you can keep track of them and start doing it on a regular basis. I know for me, I do my best to track my income creating activities. One of my friends and fellow coach, Vinu, she says that you can't measure what you don't, you can't manage what you don't measure. And so part of tracking your income creating activities is a way of being able to measure, right? Being able to measure your activities so that way you can better manage it. If you want to grow your income, you say, well, okay, well, if I'm making this type of income based on 3 income creating activities a day, what if I double that to 6 and watch things improve? Okay. So D is all about being disciplined in our acrostic here. So now moving on to the O. O is opportunity focused. You have to be opportunity focused. This is probably one of my strongest strengths, the area of opportunity, being opportunity focused. I know when COVID hit, a lot of people, COVID was a big separator for a lot of people, right? Some people, when COVID hit, they weren't opportunity focused. They were more fear-based, and they felt like, oh, I can't do this and I can't do that. And so they kind of like their businesses went backwards. Whereas for me, I saw the opportunity. I said, okay, everything's virtual now. That means that I could speak anywhere around the world now. So instead of me limiting my speaking opportunities to places where I can physically travel, I can reach out to someone on the other side of the world and say, hey, yeah, I could, at midnight my time, I could be speaking over somewhere in India in their afternoon because I'm opportunity focused. And I love what Les Brown says about this. He says, it's better to be prepared and not have an opportunity than to have an opportunity and not be prepared. And one of the reasons why I'm able to take advantage of opportunity is because I do my best to stay prepared, right? To stay ready. So when the opportunity to speak comes up, I'm ready at a moment's notice. When an opportunity to coach someone comes up, I'm ready. My systems are in place. As you heard earlier, I'm the coach's tech guy, right? So I believe in having systems in place. But you'd be amazed at how many people I've talked to that are coaches, and they say, hey, I've got someone who wants me to coach them, but I don't know how to charge them, right? Because they don't have that process in place yet. to be able to even accept money. They know they want to do it, but they're like, oh, what do I do? But once you start preparing yourself, it makes it easier for you to be receptive to those opportunities as they show up. So being opportunity focused. So I'm going to talk about two types of opportunities. I'm going to talk about speaking opportunities and coaching opportunities, just to give you some ideas, some things you can do. Right. So in terms of speaking opportunities, one way is you can cold outreach, meaning asking, as I mentioned earlier, asking for the opportunity to speak. I use Rotary clubs, Chamber of Commerce, schools, Toastmasters, other companies, TEDx, podcasts, etc. Right? There's lots of opportunities, lots of places where people are accepting speakers, they're accepting trainers, but you have to go out and make yourself known as a speaker. Ask them for that opportunity. I post a lot on social media, but I do not rely on social media to get me business. Social media is just about awareness. I know that I have to be more intentional and either make those phone calls, send those emails, reach out to people if I truly want to get the business. Then you also have to network. Networking is so important, right? And when you're networking, it's not just meeting people and trying to pass out business cards, right? It's you letting people know, okay, here's what I do, and here's what I'm looking to do, or here's who I can help, right? Let them know, okay, who you are and what you can do for them. So that's how you want to network. And also networking is going to make it easier for you to get referrals too when people know what you do. Events, connect with other speakers and event planners. I love going to other events, even if I'm not speaking from the stage. If I can just be in that atmosphere around other speakers, I've learned, take time to meet the speakers and meet the event planners and the hosts as much as you can. I was telling people at a conference in Vegas, hey, you need to be meeting the photographers, right? Event photographers are normally shooting at other events, meaning they know event hosts and they have connections. Hey, get in good with them. One reason is the right thing to do, right? Being nice to everybody. But also, if you're in good with the photographer and you are speaking, they're more likely to get better photos of you speaking, right? You can take advantage of that. But also, like I said, they have connections. They have a list of people who run events. And they may be to say, hey, yeah, I'm going to be down in Florida next week at XYZ's event. Hey, you may want to reach out to such and such person for an opportunity. You just never know. Network, connect with people. Okay. So those are some speaking opportunities. Let's talk about coaching. Coaching is similar, right? You want to do your cold outreach where you're telling people, your what, your who, and the result that you can get from your clients. Ask people for the opportunity to coach. If you're having a conversation with people nowadays, I guarantee you they're telling you about their problems or lack in their area. In my mind, that's a coaching opportunity, right? I'm not going to just give them the solution right there, but I can ask them, hey, would you like to have a call to talk about this? I would love to bounce some strategies off of you. And then if it's a good match, they'll become a client. If it's not a good match, you can refer them to someone else. But have that conversation with them. Social media. If you're looking to be a coach, of course, you want to be posting consistently on social media. But also optimize your profile. Be amazed at how many people say they're a coach. You go to their LinkedIn or their Facebook, and you're like, okay, I know they work in this profession over here and they do this. They got a lovely family, but I don't see anything on here about coaching. And you're like, well, maybe they're a coach or maybe it's more of a hobby, but I'm not going to reach out to them to coach me if I can't even tell what they coach on. So optimize your profile. Include some type of call to action so that people know how to get in contact with you. I like to tell my clients, our goal should be to make it as easy as possible for people to want to do business with you and to be able to connect with you to do the business, right? It's one thing for someone to say, oh man, I would love to work with Michael, but I wonder how I can get in contact with him. Well, Most people that's in my circle know it's pretty easy to get in contact with me, right? They know how to find a link to my website. They know how to get on my calendar. They know where to find my phone number, right? It's like it's all pretty out there, because my goal is to make it as easy as possible for people to do business with me. Then, of course, as a coach, you want to be having discovery calls or strategy calls or free coaching calls, whatever you call it. I like to call mine a strategy call, because most potential clients don't know what a discovery call means. And so they're like, what are you discovering? And, say, right. But if I say it's a strategy, everybody can understand that, okay, you're going to help me create a strategy for my business. Then it kind of connects people a little bit better. And you want to add value and include some type of call to action when you're doing a discovery call, right? If I meet with you for 30 minutes and we talk, I'm going to let you know, it's my responsibility to let you know what the next step is, to give you an opportunity to say yes or no to being my client. If I don't do that, I'm doing you a disservice. All right. If I just talk to you and let you go on about your way, you'll go find somebody else to work with. It may give you the desired result, but it may just cause more confusion. You never know. Whereas if I had to answer, I owe it to you to let you know, hey, this is how we can work together. Okay. Another way of getting coaching clients, and something that I use a lot, is by doing free webinars, workshops, trainings, masterclasses, right? Doing things where people have to opt in to come participate in some type of event that I'm doing. And I love doing them for free just to get the numbers up. And then from there, I can direct the people from this free event to something else. And I'll tell you, it works really well. That whole model works well. I'm going to talk more about that model in a second. But that's all about opportunity. And my mentor, Joseph McClendon, he says it this way. He said, sometimes the things you regret most in life are the opportunities you didn't take. And I know I can look over my life. I'm 48 now. I've missed a lot of opportunities. I've passed them up. And there's some things like, I'm like, man, I regret not taking advantage of that opportunity. So I want to encourage you, do what you can, be opportunity focused and take the action towards those opportunities if they're the right opportunity for you. Part of being opportunity focused for me allows me to say no to things that don't line up with my goals. Because when you are opportunity focused, like, opportunities are going to start showing up. People are going to say, hey, I'd love to have you here. I'd love to have you here. I'd love to have you there. Sometimes you have to say no because it just doesn't fit. I've been asked to speak on things before, and I'm like, I really don't want, I could make it work, but I really don't want to speak on that topic. And I'll say, okay, you might want to talk to such and such. That person, they have a degree in it, they'll be perfect for it. Whereas if I had to do it, it wouldn't be real, it wouldn't be authentic. So sometimes being opportunity focused means you know what opportunities to say yes to and what opportunities to say no to. But you're not going to be living in regret, right? Because you're doing it because it's towards your dream. Okay. So we have discipline, we have opportunity focus. Next is moving on to E. E is all about executing. And I think more about executing a proven plan. And the beauty of what we do as coaches, entrepreneurs, speakers, trainers, is that there's proven plans all around us. And there's no one right way to do anything in this industry, right? There's multiple ways. People have success doing this. People have success doing that. There's no shortage of plans out there. So our goal is to find a proven plan that can work for us and to execute that plan. And I love what Seth Godin said. He said, there's no shortage of remarkable ideas, but what's missing is the will to execute them. And so I truly believe you've got to have some type of plan in place that you're willing to execute on a consistent basis. And that plan for me is what I call my cash model. So I'm going to walk you all through my cash model real quick. Another simple acrostic that I put together, but I absolutely love it. And this is really how I build my business. So as I go through this, you'll be like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, right? So starting off with C is complementary. And so this is, for me, is doing like a free webinar or a free workshop. So I do a lot of tech workshops. I've done Canva trainings. I've done marketing webinars and personal development webinars, right? Lots of different webinars in this whole free webinars in this complementary space. That's a great way. I also love doing lunch and learns or trainings for corporations, where I call them up and say, hey, I would love to do a complimentary 45-minute training for your company. I could do it on XYZ topic. Most companies are very receptive to having you come in and speak for free for them. You can create videos, do podcast interviews, maybe challenges, some type of handout or guide, like a PDF or something that you're given as a lead magnet. Those all fall in that complementary space. And everything I have listed here, I've done every single one of these, and I continue to do them even now. Even as I go to more paid things, I'm still doing a lot of things in that complementary space because it attracts new people all the time. And so from complementary, the next step is moving in, the next letter is affordable. So we're just moving from the C, the complementary, next to affordable. And these are things like low-cost webinars or low-cost workshops. It could also be like a low-cost training that I'm doing. A membership. You heard earlier, I talked about my monthly membership, so that's more of that affordable model. Memberships and subscriptions are big. It could be a single coaching session. Every once in a while, I'll have someone they're not really ready to commit to a full-on coaching. They just got a small problem that needs to be solved. Hey, I'll do a single coaching session for them. A low-cost challenge, a low-cost ebook or journal guide, templates, right? There's lots of things in that affordable category. And the beauty here is once someone spends a small amount of money with you, they're more likely to increase that. I know I do that all the time. If I'm interested in a program, I'll try maybe the free version of that program first. And then if I do upgrade, I'll upgrade to that next level just so I can try it out with some of the new features. And then if I really like it, I'll go ahead and get an annual subscription of it. Right? That's just human nature. And so that's why I like this model as it is. So A is all about affordable. So moving on to S. S is more series. So this is when you're trying to do something that's has more of a long-term benefit on it. An example would be a multi-session mastermind. So maybe you're doing a 5-week mastermind or a 10-week mastermind that someone has to commit to. Could be a multi-week training. I know I signed a contract with a company to do a 90-day training for them. Right, so that's a multi-week training type program. It could be group coaching that you have or some type of accountability program. Or maybe you have a course or a drip course or a self-paced course that you're offering. That's something that has that longer term benefit. And it probably has a higher price tag than the affordable model. The next is high ticket. And so for me, this would be like a 3 to 12 month one-on-one coaching program or a corporate group training that I'm doing or live group coaching plus one-on-one. Or it could be a course plus a one-on-one component to it. Right, so they're in that higher level of the model. And so that's that cash model. So going again, it's complementary, it's the affordable, a series, and like a high ticket type of offer. Okay. And this is something, like I said, I do this on a continual basis, right? I'm constantly saying, okay, what this month right here, so in the month of December, we're really, take it back, so still in November, in my mind, I'm already thinking, okay, in that complementary, what can I do for free? What type of workshops or things can I do for free in the month of November still? What are some of the things I'm going to be doing in that affordable in this series model? Let's face it, Black Friday is coming up. I know I already got some Black Friday deals that I'm going to be announcing to my community. That all falls along here in this cash model. Okay. So that's the execute. E was execute. Moving on to R. R is probably one of my personal favorites, and it's all about responsibility. I'm big on people taking personal responsibility. You see, because when I grew up and I was younger, probably in my early 20s, I used to make a lot of excuses. I wasn't taking personal responsibility for my own life. So I would blame such and such for this and such for that. But I've learned, actually, a book, The Magic of Thinking Big, helped me learn that making excuses was one of the top failure diseases. And I learned how to overcome that. And so for me, the number one way to overcome that, making those excuses, is taking personal responsibility. So there's three things I'm going to talk to you about taking responsibility for. One is your attitude, and attitude is key. And Joseph says you need to become one of those people who meets life with a positive attitude and a smile. And that's so important, right? We just want to have that positive outlook because of our attitude. And so here's some questions that you can ask about your attitude. How is my overall attitude today? Right? Am I optimistic or pessimistic? I know even for me, I occasionally have to catch myself. If I look at my phone and it's a call from one of my family members in North Carolina, I'm quick to go to the pessimistic side, and I have to correct it and say, no, they're calling about something positive, right? They're not calling because someone's passed or someone's sick, or right? I have to always fix that in my mind. But I'm more conscious of it now to make it optimistic. Do I have a can-do attitude? And does my attitude attract people? Let's face it, we've all been in places where there are certain people, they walk into a room, people are naturally attracted to them because that person's got that positive attitude. You just want to go over and shake their hand and be around them. Where there's other people, you see them coming and you do your best to kind of hide because you know they're going to tell you all about all the problems and how the world is just against them. And the way they make you feel because they have such a negative attitude, like, you don't want to be around that. So you want to be the type of person where your attitude is attractive to people. They really want to be in a room with you. They want to be on a conversation with you because they know they're going to leave feeling better. Right? When I think about attitude, so I had this, one of my clients gave me this recently. And it says they may forget what you said, but they will never forget how you made them feel. And this all goes down to the type of attitude that you have, if it's an attractive attitude. So then moving on, the next area of responsibility is your personal growth. John Maxwell says growth is the only guarantee that tomorrow is going to get better. I mean, think about that. Growth is the only guarantee that my tomorrow or your tomorrow can get better. And that's our personal growth. I'm a big fan of personal growth. Personal growth helped me go from being a natural introvert, shy, horrible self-image where I wouldn't even speak up in meetings, to being confident and loving speaking on stages and connecting with people, regardless of their income and all that. But it's because of personal growth. So here's some questions to ask yourself. What did I study or listen to today? What am I reading today? What did I learn today? And how did I exceed expectations today? Right? So how did I go that extra mile? What did I do that was extra? That's all a part of personal growth. Then the third area of responsibility is all about your character, and character is huge. Do I do what I say I'm going to do? Right? Am I a person on my word? Can people count on me? That's really what it's saying. If I tell Cheryl, hey, I'm going to show up at this time, do I do it? And if I can't do it, do I at least let her know, right? That's part of your character. Do my actions line up with my values? Very important. You look at most successful people that have fallen in society, it's normally come down to their actions not lining up with the values that they portrayed from a stage or from a bigger platform. And you're like, oh, okay, that's how that person really is, right? Did I live with integrity today? And who am I when no one is looking, right? It all comes down to your character. So that's our responsibility. So we have the discipline. We have opportunity focused. We're going to execute a proven plan, and we're going to take responsibility, that personal responsibility. And then you'll become a doer. And so I'm going to read this affirmation to you here. I am a doer. I take action now. I choose to win as a coach, so I set goals. I manage my time, and I get things done. I have a clear picture of what I want to accomplish. I set priorities. I plan my day, and I follow my plan. I visualize my success every day. Right now, at this moment, I see myself doing those things that improve my business and create my success. I'm a winner, and I choose to win, and I choose to help others win. I am a doer. This has been wonderful, and I'm a big fan of getting feedback, so I would love it if you take 2 minutes to give me feedback on this presentation. Let me know how it helps you out. A short 2-minute survey. You can either scan this QR code here, or you can just go to the website, talk.ac/Michael J. Pope Jr. And if you put in the code MC1111, you'll also get a handout of all the slides. So I know you probably took notes and you did screenshots and all that. But if you want a PDF version of all the slides that I just covered, you'll get that at the end of the survey as well. Guys, at the summit, please, I encourage you, be a doer, be disciplined, be opportunity focused, execute that proven plan, and take personal responsibility. Hey, I appreciate the time here, Cheryl. This was exciting. So thank you so much.
Thank you, Michael. You know, I want to be over here applauding you like, yay, 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 yay. It is amazing to see the growth that you've done. And now I see why, right? With you being a doer, discipline, which comes under your DISC thing, but we'll talk about that another day. Opportunity focused, which I really loved all the details that were there. And then execute your plan, because no action, nothing gets done. And then the responsibility side, that really resonates with me a lot. I think that that builds character and gets things done. I got a couple of questions for you.
Sure.
Do you know why the gentleman chose 17 minutes in the book?
That's a good, great question. So what it was, and I'm trying to remember exactly why Darren said he chose 17, but it was, he was in the process of trying to write a book, and he would start it and he would stop. And then someone has told him, I think they was like, hey, if you just take a few minutes or whatever, I guarantee you get some pages. And he started writing. And I think when he finished, he looked at the time and it was only 17 minutes, but he had already covered all these pages. And he was like, 17 minutes, that's it.
I love it, because, you know, it'll vary for many people, for a lot of people, but I have never heard the 17 minutes. And that's a good takeaway, you all, for people to practice, is taking a segment of time and doing your work. I think it's kind of like bullet journaling, or I forget the other practice, but there are a lot of things that talk to the proven point that when you segment your time and you take a little chunk, it doesn't have to be long amounts of time. Typically, I've heard 20 minutes or something like that it helps you to become a lot more productive.
Yeah, I know there's a method that starts with a P that a lot of people, especially in the technical role, they do. I think a Pomodoro or something like that.
Yeah, Pomodoro. Yeah. Yeah. And if you want to learn more about that, y'all go on YouTube. There's a lot of videos out there there's this gentleman, Aurelius, and I can't remember his last name, that I look at some of the time. And he's real big on showing productivity tips, but check him out. As well as we wrap up, Michael, I got one question for you. How do you do all of these things, or what do you do to live life simply?
All right. So for me, my best advice for living life simply, for me as a husband and as a father of three young men, for me is making sure that everything that I do is in alignment with our overall goal. So my wife and I, we have a family plan, if you will. And so we know that anytime that I'm taking away from family and putting on my business, I'm being intentional about it. Right. And so like even like when I joined the John Maxwell team, my wife and I talked about it before, and we were like, okay, if we're going to take money out of our household budget for you to build this business, it's got to work. All right. So there was no, it's not going to be a hobby. You're going to try it. No, it was, if you're going to do it type of thing. And so we had that focus, and we had that partnership where she knows that if I've got a speaking engagement, she's got to take the kids to karate, she'll do that. And I'll do my thing, and vice versa to anything that she's doing. So we've got a great partnership there where we're not stepping on each other's toes. And she does, my wife, Sonia, she does great about edifying me to the kids. If I'm doing something, I mean, she lets them know what I'm doing, that Daddy's helping people, or he's going to be speaking here. And my kids have had opportunity to go with me to Florida, and I spoke at a high school not too long ago, and I took my whole family with me. So they were sitting out in the audience to be a part of it, because I want them to know what I'm doing. Because
when you said to Florida, you're talking about IMC, the International Maxwell Conference.
Yes. I've taken them to the events down there, and I want them to know what I'm doing as an example, so they can see the hard work that Daddy's put in, and see how it pays off. I think it's a great example for them, because I don't always win at everything I do. I mean, my boys have seen that firsthand. And when they experienced it in karate, we were able to have a discussion about it, right? It's all about doing your best. You may not be first every single time. That's okay, as long as you know you gave your best effort.
Awesome. Well, thank you again, Michael. How can people get in touch with you? You want to share that one more time? And then, are you doing the extra bonus?
Yes, and so my extra bonus is going to be, and I think you're going to give them information, but I'm going to be offering a free Canva workshop next Saturday. Is it the 19th? Yeah,
December 19th. I mean, not December, sorry.
Yeah, November 19th. And so for those of you who don't know what Canva is an amazing tool used to create graphics. And I absolutely love it. I've taught Canva to a lot of people, really help people save time, save money by using Canva, creating graphics and videos themselves. And I'm really, really good at Canva. It's,
yes,
I create all my presentations and everything in Canva.
Yes, make sure you take him up on that opportunity if you have the time available. And the link will be in your gift pack that'll come on December. I don't know why I'm leaping to December already, to November 15th. So stay tuned, watch your emails. There's an email that will come showcasing the gifts and the links to the gifts. Michael, thank you so much. I appreciate you. Oh, so tell us the website one more time.
Yeah, so michaelpopetraining.com. You can go to michaelpopetraining.com to learn more about me. Also, you can connect with me on social media, any social media platform at Michael J. Pope Jr.
Awesome. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you so much.
You're welcome, Cheryl. I loved it.